this first session, I end up talking way more than you'll ever see me talk on any other session. Mostly because what I want to give you all is just an overview of Missionary Pathway, how it works, and to know what you should do before we meet. So Missionary Pathway is built on a transformational learning style, which is a discipling style. And that's really the power of the Missionary Pathway. Is not Trey and I didn't come up with like the perfect process. We just brought in some disciple making principles and we did it in a discipling way. So it's a 10-20-70 system. So 10% of your time is going to be spent right here, and I'll do a screen share on this platform doing just the cohort materials here. And so all you need to do before we meet for our next session is you walk through each of these experience sessions. So we break this down in our sessions, which are core competencies, and I'll talk about those. And then in each session, there's a rhythm of experience, connect, and reflect. And so the experience is that 10% learning content. So all you do is you walk through this stuff before we meet. And so, like, for example, I helped you out. I did your Discovery Bible study with you. So you got that knocked out. So once you're done with that, you just click continue, you move on to the next thing. Most like 90% of this is video based. And most of the sessions will only take you about an hour to an hour, 15 minutes to get through. There's only 2 exceptions to that, and I'll warn you when those come up. But the curriculum piece is not a lot of curriculum. And so the idea is to kind of sit in some of these principles, think about them, and then once you're done with all these experience videos and sections, we'll move into our connect time. And our connect time is that 20% time. And so during the connect time, what we'll do is we'll always start with Discovery Bible Study. And then we'll go into a time where we just unpack what you've been digging into here. And so we'll talk about what concepts stuck out to you, what challenged you, how you see this working out in your own existing context, and just kind of let the conversation drive it. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll always end our time with what's called an I will statement. And that I will statement leads you into the 70% of time. And that last 70% is just putting these things into practice. And so the way we'll end our sessions, normally, not today, but normally, is we'll take a little bit of time of silence, kind of think about what the Holy Spirit's drawing up for you, what's sticking out to you, and then how you'll live that out when you leave that session. And so we always say the I will sessions statements have to pass the Hey Mom test. And so the Hey Mom test is simple. It's like, hey Mom, watch me jump my bike over the car. It's something that's tangible. There's an action that you can see and evaluate, and that's it. So it's like, hey Mom, watch me lead a Discovery Bible study this week. Hey Mom, watch me be in prayer to the Lord of the harvest for who I should have a spiritual conversation with. And so we do that as a way of essentially saying we want things that start in the head to move into the heart and the hands, and then ultimately into the feet so you can live them out in the places you're already going. And that last 70%, we just kind of say we want you to live that out where you're already going. So you don't have to go start a new discipleship program or anything like that. Just in the spaces and places you're already going, how can you start living these things out? And so that's kind of the rhythm of the missionary pathway. And so what we do is this is called a core competency based kind of style. And so what that means is this: each one of these sessions is a disciple making competency that we walk through. And we've intentionally built them like building blocks. So one session builds on the next, builds on the next. And so if we're in the group or you're ever leading a group and they get stuck on a spot, it's not like school where you're like, you took the test, you got a B, we're moving on to the next session. But if you get a session and they're like, God, we're just not catching that, or we'd like to spend more time there, then hang out there. Spend all the time you need before you move into the next one. Because that's kind of how that disciple making rhythm goes, is you